A single morning meal can systematically force your body to pull energy directly from deep visceral fat stores for a prolonged window. You leave this video knowing the exact molecular sequence that turns a common breakfast staple into a targeted fat loss strategy. The most counterintuitive part? The secret isn't cutting calories, it's changing your hormonal signaling. Think about the exact breakfast you ate yesterday morning. Did it actively signal your liver to store energy? Or did it unlock your fat cells? When you consume 4 whole eggs, you initiate an aggressive hormonal suppression sequence inside your digestive tract. The immediate influx of dense protein and bioavailable fats dampens the release of ghrelin, the primary hormone responsible for triggering intense hunger pangs. Concurrently, this nutritional profile stimulates a rapid upsurge in peptide YY and glucagon-like peptide 1, signaling your brain that energy requirements are fully met. This dual action pathway creates an immediate deficit, naturally causing individuals to consume roughly 400 fewer calories throughout the remainder of the day. Your hormones govern your fat storage baseline. This systemic shift means you stop fighting intense cravings with willpower alone. Swap your morning carbohydrate source for whole eggs this week to stabilize these metabolic pathways immediately. Imagine a single dietary choice that keeps your metabolic storage gates closed well into the following afternoon. Because eggs contain fewer than 1 gram of carbohydrates per serving, their digestion requires virtually zero insulin response from the pancreas. When insulin remains low, the body retains unrestricted access to its adipose tissue, using stored fat as its primary fuel source. Clinical observations reveal that this satiety effect does not expire quickly. It routinely influences human hunger patterns for up to 36 hours. Low insulin unlocks your fat stores. By keeping this hormonal switch flipped, your system stops defaulting to storage mode and optimizes its daily caloric burn. Commit to a carbohydrate-free breakfast window for 7 consecutive days to reset your baseline insulin sensitivity. A major breakthrough in metabolic research occurs when we compare identical caloric deficits with entirely different macronutrient structures. In a landmark clinical trial, researchers tracked 2 groups of overweight adults who consumed the exact same number of daily calories for 8 weeks. The only variable was their morning meal. One group ate whole eggs, while the other ate dense, wheat-based bagels. By the end of the 2-month period, the egg-consuming group had lost 65% more total body weight, and their waist circumferences shrank 34% more than the bagel group. Identical calories do not produce identical bodies. This reveals that the structural composition of your food fundamentally dictates how your system processes and sheds weight. Replace your morning pastry or cereal bowl with whole food proteins to maximize the efficiency of your current caloric intake. Consider the case of structural congestion inside the human liver, a condition that quietly stalls fat metabolism for millions of adults. The liver is tasked with packaging lipid particles and transporting them throughout the system to be burned as active fuel. However, this transport mechanism stalls entirely without a vital compound called choline, causing lipids to become trapped and accumulate within hepatic tissue. This metabolic gridlock is a primary contributor to fatty liver disease, which currently impacts approximately 25% of the global population. Because whole egg yolks are the single densest source of bioavailable choline on Earth, consuming 4 per day delivers roughly 590 milligrams of this essential nutrient. Egg yolks clear hepatic fat gridlock. Ensuring this nutrient intake protects your primary metabolic organ from long-term cellular congestion and structural damage. Eat the whole egg instead of just the whites to secure your daily requirement of essential choline. If you want to track how these metabolic changes alter your body week by week, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. We have a breakdown of advanced nutritional science coming up next, so stick around to maximize your results. Many health enthusiasts focus entirely on the soft, subcutaneous fat they can pinch. completely ignoring the invisible danger deeper inside. While subcutaneous tissue sits harmlessly right beneath the skin, visceral fat wraps tightly around your internal organs, including the liver and kidneys. This hidden tissue releases inflammatory cytokines directly into the bloodstream, significantly driving up the risk of metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular disease. In a clinical trial from the University of Alabama, adults consuming 3 eggs daily on a lower carbohydrate protocol shed an impressive 22.8% of their deep visceral fat in 8 weeks. Visceral fat threatens your internal organs. Eliminating this hidden hazard radically improves your long-term cardiovascular health and insulin sensitivity. Focus on biomarkers and waist measurements rather than the scale alone to track internal fat loss. Why do so many restrictive weight loss protocols inadvertently cause individuals to lose precious muscle tissue alongside body fat? When you force the body into an energy deficit without adequate signaling, it frequently breaks down lean mass to harvest structural amino acids. Whole eggs contain an exceptional concentration of leucine, the precise molecular key that activates muscle protein synthesis paths within human cells. Data indicates that consuming the whole egg triggers a 40% greater muscle repair response than consuming egg whites alone, preserving your metabolic rate. Whole protein shields your lean muscle mass. Maintaining this structural tissue ensures your basal metabolic rate remains elevated, allowing you to burn energy more efficiently around the clock. Keep the yolks in your daily meal plan to supply the critical building blocks your muscles require. Imagine ruining the pristine nutritional profile of your breakfast by subjecting it to extreme, uncontrolled heat on the stove. While cooking the egg white completely is necessary to double its protein absorption from roughly 51% to over 90%, the delicate yolk requires a protective, low-temperature approach. Exposing the fragile lipids inside the yolk to intense pan temperatures creates oxysterols, which are highly oxidized cholesterol molecules that actively irritate vascular linings. To prevent this thermal degradation, culinary methods like poaching or soft boiling keep the yolk intact while reaching the safety threshold. High thermal stress damages delicate nutrients. Adopting careful preparation preserves the protective antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D within the food matrix. Lower your burner setting to medium-low and use stable fats like extra virgin olive oil for frying. A massive shift in cardiological consensus occurred when clinical researchers dismantled the archaic myth that dietary cholesterol dictates blood cholesterol levels. The human liver acts as a built-in regulatory system, producing roughly 80% of your circulating cholesterol naturally every day to maintain vital cellular structures. When you ingest whole foods containing cholesterol, your liver senses the incoming supply and decreases its internal production to keep systemic levels balanced. While roughly 30% of the population are classified as hyperresponders who see an increase in LDL levels, modern tracking shows this increase occurs exclusively in large, buoyant particles that do not damage arteries. Your body self-regulates its cholesterol balance. This built-in homeostatic control makes regular consumption remarkably safe for the vast majority of healthy individuals. Review your complete lipid panel profiles with a professional to understand your specific metabolic response. Consuming 4 whole eggs daily provides the exact structural building blocks required to suppress hunger hormones, lower insulin baseline levels, and clear deep visceral fat. To accelerate your visual transformation, discover how pairing this breakfast sequence with targeted fiber sources compounds your metabolic burn rate in our featured breakdown. Not professional advice. Consult a qualified expert as needed.